I discovered today that when you want your team to get ready and get the show underway, you got to do the finger guns.
Finger guns.
Finger guns.
Finger guns.
Without pew-pews. It's bang, bang.
Yeah. It's bang bang.
Bang bang, not pew pew.
There we go. Bring you boys up like that, and we're back for another episode of Juneau Community Corner with EFA and Nano Brooks. And gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good as well.
Yep.
That back hurts.
Yeah.
I'm lifting sheetrock with my body twisted in half up some stairs, and it was a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, my ribs hurt. That's how bad the backache is.
I'll probably be that sore tomorrow. Tomorrow's freight day, so I got a lot of beer to hustle tomorrow. Yeah.
And of course, just enjoying this nice rainy day of, visitors coming into town and being able to see what the real Southeast Alaska is all about instead of that, nice sunshine where they say, I think we better move here. And it's all like, no.
That's what you call faux Juneau.
Right.
Yeah. You haven't experienced it yet. So, yeah, it's kind of like one of those things like when I was driving for Princess Cruises way back in the day, I'd always tell everybody I'm really happy that you're here on a rainy, overcast day because this is what it's really all about here. Yeah. And if you still want to move here after that, then okay, I can understand
there's a good
where
chance.
you're coming from.
There's a good chance it could be like this all summer.
Yeah.
Any given summer.
All year.
Right.
Exactly. So, and of course, we have that little naval destroyer out there in the, is it an escort destroyer or something like that? I think is which one it is.
Missile-guided destroyer.
There you go.
Yeah. Super cool piece of machinery. I mean,
it's got the boom booms.
Yeah, regardless of how you feel about our Department of Defense, that is a very, very cool piece of machinery.
It is.
It's neat.
I remember taking tours of naval vessels back in high school and going, I think I want to join the Navy. And then, of course, I kind of backed out of it.
My grandma used to talk to me about joining the military and stuff like that. And anytime I expressed interest in, a different branch or something, I would talk to her about it. And she would always go, don't join the Army because they're gay.
Wow.
And she was, she was super religious, So like she was just, I was always just like, what? What do you mean?
She just thought that there wasn't homosexuals in every other part of the military?
Right, exactly. Like there wasn't gay people like everywhere. It's just, just very outdated mindset, but
interesting.
That's who she was. That's how she was.
But anyways, we are live now. For those of you who want to join us, we do have a call in. If you want to give us a call, it's 907-723-2024 if you want to give us a call. Or you could send us some of your questions or your comments or anything you want to talk about tonight to our email address, JuneauCommunityCorner@gmail.com. And then we are also taking messages if you're over on the EOR Podcast Facebook page. We're going to get a new Facebook page for just this Juneau Community Corner that everybody can migrate over towards. And we're also going to get up and running on Twitch as well. So we could do multi-stream and everything there. So if you're not exactly YouTube loving and you want to go with something a little bit more like Twitch? The old school Facebook or go Twitch, that's where the kiddos are, man. That's where all the gaming goes down and everything. But there's a little bit of a political community out there on Twitch if you want to join that. So we're going to be available there. Also going to be dropping the audio version of the podcast on Spreaker.com, which is also, if you subscribe to the RSS feed, will also push out to Apple Podcasts. So if you enjoy listening to your podcasts in audio form only, we're going to have that available for you coming up here fairly soon. And you could
available on the apples
on the Apple Podcast or on the Spreaker.com app.
It can be a little distracting from the content when you have such good-looking people running the program.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Hey, can't help it. I was born this way.
So again, any of the topics that we discussed tonight, you're invited to join us in the comment section.
Yeah.
Call us, send us an email, or if you have anything you want to talk about, you're the driving factor of the show. We want you guys to be involved with it. So go ahead, tell us what you want to talk about.
Yes.
Area code 907-723-2024. So let's jump into it, gentlemen.
Yeah, I think we'll.
What's happening in the community of Juneau
we'll
here?
start off with a little bit of a school district update. The school district has announced that Lisa Pierce is the new CFO. And you may be wondering, well, who is Lisa? And what kind of qualifications does she have to be the CFO? Well, Lisa has experience working as a CFO for Fairbanks North Starborough. Lisa has also been working with the Juneau School District when she was temporarily hired back in December, taking over as Director of Admin Services after Casey Olin resigned. During the temporary hire period, Lisa discovered multi-million-dollar deficits, including a $4 million loan from the city. With her help, the district was able to resolve those deficits, and Lisa will now be in charge of the district budget and fiscal plans. So it sounds like a good idea.
Sometimes it just takes an outside
Right.
view to be
Right.
like, hey, everyone,
Right.
whoa.
Sounds like a good hire. You know, that's,
Exactly.
Yeah.
she's got a good eye for things, so it looks like this might be a good idea.
Well, this also builds confidence, right? So you
Yes.
take somebody that's like, hey, take a look, everyone. This
Right.
is the individual that helped us discover these issues and helped us resolve them as well.
Right.
So I think that lends a lot of confidence to someone who's stepping in and going to be taking over a permanent position. And then you've got people who are going to have, be a little bit more calm about the direction in which
Right.
the Juneau School District or any kind of government agency when you make a hire like this. So good on the Juneau School District for getting somebody who knows what they're doing, who's good at their job, and that we were able to retain them. So now we just need to put forward a little bit more energy, a little bit more effort into helping this individual and be up our game a little bit.
And it's nice to see, this is hard work with results, and she was rewarded appropriately for the results of her good hard work, you know?
Right. Meanwhile, there's an effort to recall some members of the Juneau School District. The Juneau School Board voted for a plan that will move all of the high schoolers to Juneau Douglas and all of the middle schoolers to Thunder Mountain. It's an effort to address the district's financial woes. Thunder Mountain parents feel that the new arrangement is bad for students, and they feel that the board failed to understand this year's budget and the $7.9 million deficit that came with it. So they're petitioning to recall school board president Dee Dee Sorensen and vice president Emily Mackey. It's just ridiculous what they've done to our kids. These kids who are juniors, they already lost their 8th grade year to COVID, and now they're losing their senior year because these people made decisions without community input, and it's garbage.
Yeah, that was one of the parents who were involved with the recall.
Right.
Seeing them set up down there at the Foodland and having an opportunity to chat a little bit with them. And I could see where they're coming from on this one. I understand that it's a little bit more of a symbolic gesture in which, you want parents in the community to take a stand and basically say, no, we're going to recall you.
Right.
You did a bad job. We're not just going to let you resign and step away from the position.
Yeah.
There's got to be some accountability that comes with this. So I understand their argument coming from it, but at this point, I kind of feel like it's a bit moot.
Yeah.
What's really unfortunate, though, is that you go ahead with a recall, even if it gets approved, then, the two are removed. Who's going to fill their shoes? We have a really bad track record in the community of, not a lot of people that want to step up and get involved in these types of things because they're either too busy or they think it's beyond them. But anyone, everyone has it within themselves to go make a difference and help the community. And you don't have to be, you just have to care. You have to care about the place you live in and the quality of life for all the residents, and that qualifies you. So, it's a lot like Jason said, it's definitely a strong gesture to
Right.
call for recall, do
Yeah.
a recall and everything. But it's like, is that going to leave us in a better position or a worse position?
You might have the next good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. The petitioners would prefer to blend the middle schoolers and high schoolers for a seventh through 12th grade model at both of the campuses. Bad idea, but the board already considered that idea and voted against it back in March. According to Mackey, a 7 through 12 arrangement would do little to close the budget gap because it costs more money. It costs a lot more money, and it doesn't really fit the facilities. Sorensen and Mackey are both set to serve their terms through 2025, and that makes them the only members of the board who are eligible for recall.
Yeah, so
I wonder if the petition would have gone for more members, if the other members qualified. Were they trying to get rid of the entire school board, or was it just Sorensen and Mackey because they're the only ones that they could go against?
well, those are the only two that they could go against. I'm pretty sure from what it sounded like that they would go for more on the board, maybe the
Right.
whole board altogether, just
Right.
as a complete failure of the system. Just
Yeah.
recall them all.
Yeah.
So
But maybe you get better leadership in there.
You'd hope.
You would hope.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah. So let's take a look at this here. Oh, hey, Disc Golf Ladies League is 6 p.m. every Friday this summer at the Treadwell Disc Golf Course with all events listed on udisc.com. You're going to meet at the Sandy Beach parking lot coming up this Friday at 6 p.m. if you want to get involved with that. So if any of you ladies out there want to go join the Disc Golf Ladies League, that's the opportunity for you to go do it. So disc golf sounds like it's a pretty good time. I've never done it myself, but I hear about it all around town all the time.
Just throwing frisbees at baskets.
It's extremely fun. Don't listen to these two.
Just
It is
throw-
amazing.
Just throwing frisbees.
Go and go do it. Go have fun. And what's great is that the local club, we have multiple tournaments that go on throughout the year. And there are even PDGA sanctioned events that can be hosted because there is a club now. So you can get a player rating, get your national ranking, and there's already plenty of community members who are on the scoreboards.
National ranking and tossing frisbees.
Yes,
Oh.
you can make a living off of it now. ESPN covers
Well,
it
you can make a
now.
living doing all kinds of things now.
So it's a
wild.
But is it
real-
as fun as tossing a frisbee and walking around?
I think playing video games would be more fun, but
No, I mean-
everybody's got their own juice.
I mean, to get out, and go do something out among, the forest and all that good stuff.
That's why I go.
And-
That's why I go fishing.
Well, so and you don't have to be good or
get
coordinated
away from
or
people.
athletic. You literally just need to chuck it as hard as
You go fishing, they go disc golfing.
Toss.
Yeah. Killer frisbee game. I'm all about it.
That's a lot.
I say do it.
My boss from Alaska Plumbing and Heating, Sonny Ashby, was the #1 rated player in Alaska, and he's
wow.
toured doing tournaments across the country. The guy is very, very
Probably
impressive.
Probably getting sponsorships and
Yeah,
stuff.
there's got to be like some sponsorship opportunities for
free
that.
Gatorade
especially-
for life. Or
Well,
something.
they're getting big. The sponsorship opportunities are getting greater and greater now that ESPN covers highlight shots.
And when I was out on tour, I just loved playing ping pong with my Flexo Light ping pong paddle, which everybody knows is true, but Mama just said white lie, wouldn't hurt nobody.
Now you got me started. Ping pong, I will go to the Olympics for ping pong. The average age of an Olympic ping pong player is 45 years old. I got a good, 15 years to get ready for that, and I will go to the Olympics for ping pong at some point.
That does sound
That's
actually like a
amazing.
good time.
Yeah.
And then we can say he got to start here. So, apparently, this is a wild story. The FBI arrested a cruise ship employee here in Juneau yesterday. 35-year-old Nintendo Sagani of South Africa. I totally slaughtered his first name.
Yeah.
An employee of the Norwegian Encore was arrested and charged with assault with a dangerous weapon. FBI Public Affairs Officer Chloe Martin said the agency is investigating. This was an isolated incident, and there's no threat to other passengers. According to the release from the U.S. Department of Justice, Sagani tried to deploy a lifeboat late Sunday night before the ship security apprehended him. Ship security then brought him to the ship's medical center for assessment, where Sagani physically attacked a security guard and a nurse. They would then move him to a different room where he grabbed scissors and stabbed a 75-year-old woman in the exam room, along with 2 other security guards. Sagoni was later detained and held in the ship's jail until he arrived here in good old Juneau. According to the FBI, the incident happened outside U.S. jurisdiction.
Yeah. Well,
Well, it's maritime law. It's a very
Right.
strange thing. That is a foreign ship, so
Right.
it's technically foreign land traveling
Right.
through international pathways.
Right. That's wow.
see, we've had some amazing stories on cruise ships coming
Yeah.
through town.
Wouldn't be the
Yeah.
start of the cruise season unless we had
Unless
that one
something
story.
crazy happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't
What's the weirdest thing though is that, you know, it's understandable that Norwegian would have a bunch of workers from other parts of the world and stuff, but they hired this guy who's a South African in Seattle just 2 days before going on where's the vetting
Wow.
process? It
Wow.
was just like,
Yeah.
all right, you're ready to go on a giant trip here with thousands of people. The scissors are over there.
I hope this isn't a bad sign for the season.
So
Maybe it's just par the course.
I don't know. Juneau attracts a true crime element that
It really does.
It's real fascinating.
It really does.
Flashback to 2021, where Utah man was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison
Right.
following 5 years of supervised release for the beating death of his wife during a visit in 2017. Kenneth Manzarius, 43, pled guilty back in February of 2020 to second-degree murder of his wife, Christy, while on board the Emerald Princess cruise ship. So, you know, that's just one example of some of the stuff that goes down on these cruise ships. And we seem to be the one that is the port stop for all the crazies to get
Right,
off, you know, when
right.
this stuff goes down.
And just think about it, you know, it's like there can be thousands of people on that ship. You're a traveling city, you know, and all cities have their crime and everything else,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just bringing that here.
Oh no,
Every
it's
day.
it's actually like so far as the start to the
Right.
tourist season. I've already met some wonderful folks at the
course.
laundromats and stuff.
Right.
People are just I love these old timers who are traveling for their retirement, and they are, regardless of the weather, they are so jazzed to be here. This is like
Yeah.
everything in their
this
life
is-
coming to a cusp, and they're like, we have made it and arrived, and yeah, they're super grateful for the experience and very kind. you know?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, like this is, you know, the spot, the goal, you know,
Yeah.
for a lot of people to get to someday, you know, and you know, you've got people who've waited their whole lives to come here,
Right.
and there are some tourists occasionally that come here and just don't get back on the boat. You know,
It's like,
I've run into a couple of
Yeah,
people.
We
yeah.
got
you
we
walk
got a few
off.
people here, yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah.
walk off home. Okay.
A lot of people who go out and work for Alamarine, and you know, they're here for the summer and they just end up staying. And I've met
Right.
quite a few of those people. So yeah, lots of opportunities here in Southeast Alaska if anybody wants to come and live here.
Right.
It's just the housing market is just it's
it's a little
It
tough.
leaves a
it's
lot
a
to
little
be
tough.
desired.
Yeah.
Now, here's one of the cool things about Juneau. I don't know if anybody's into going over to the Marie Drake Planetarium, but Habitat Earth is a full dome movie going on at the Marie Drake Planetarium tomorrow with 2 short shows, 6 p.m. and 7:15 p.m. It's a 24-minute long movie. projected onto their 30-foot dome, and it's an exploration of what it means to live in today's connected world where biological networks intersect with those built by humans. Plunge below the ocean surface to explore the dynamic relationships found deep in the ocean ecosystem. Dig beneath the forest floor to see how the Earth's tallest trees rely on tiny fungi to survive, and soar to new heights to witness an intricate intersection between human and ecological networks. This award-winning original planetarium show features a stunning visualization of both biological and human-built networks and of how they intersect, taking showgoers on an incredible immersive journey through the interconnection of life on Earth.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, and the planetarium is such an awesome environment in there. It's so relaxing, and it's just cool to be in there.
The planetarium. Yeah.
And you don't need to sign up for this one. This is an all ages, first come, first serve. So get on over there tomorrow, 6 p.m. and 7:15 if you want to go check that out. Marie Drake Planetarium. It's a good time.
Yeah, there is limited space, so get there early.
And it's a great way to stay in shape.
Cool. Well, so we've mentioned on this show, not just tonight, but a couple times in the past on other shows, you know, all it takes is somebody out there to step up who's got some good ideas. You want to become a public servant and help Juneau become a better city?
Serve your neighbors and community members.
Run for public office. So we got a little how to run for local office workshop for you here. Juneau's annual How to Run for Local Office workshop is happening on Saturday, and it gives anyone a chance to ask questions and to learn about what it takes to campaign for the Juneau Assembly or the school board. Current and former members will offer advice to prospective candidates for this October's municipal election. 6 seats are open on the October 1st election, 2 on the Juneau Assembly, and 3 on the school board. There are quite a few initiatives that could also land on the ballot, and it's a mayoral election. And I heard from a little bird that somebody is going to be at this workshop.
Yeah, I went to it last year, and this is it's a really great resource. The Women League of Voters are awesome for hosting this, and you're gonna meet like Mike was saying, current and former assembly members. They're gonna tell you how to kind of navigate through the campaign trail and key things to expect from the job. And also you'll get your campaign packet there where you have to get signatures from community members to validate your run and your campaign to be registered on the ballot. So but plenty of people go there just to help their friends and other people run and be campaign staff for them. Great thing to go check out. I'll be there. You can hang out with me, and we'll learn some great inner workings of municipal dealings.
That sounds like it's an awesome opportunity that if you really geek out on politics, and this is also a good chance for you to really get involved, get into the system, and meet the people who are who are running the city and making decisions. And have an opportunity not only to just learn how you could run for public office, but maybe get a little bit more understanding about how the system works.
Right. And the very important thing to keep in mind is that if you're thinking about running for office, you're not going to go in there with your ideas and just push them through. Mm-hmm. You're there to be a mouthpiece for the community, to represent the people that are your constituents, that are the ones putting you in office. So it really is a civil service to the community members, and you just want to go in thinking, how can I do my best to represent what the community needs and wants?
And I think that first step is like, how do I run? What's the application process like? What certain things that you have to disclose on that one. I think, what really the hesitation for a lot of people to run is you're a little bit more public now.
Right.
Yes.
You know, your actions among the community are scrutinized,
Right.
and that can be a bit stressful. But you know, again, having something like this set up so you can at least get an idea of how to start the process, and then plug yourself in and network with everybody, and and make really good relationships.
It really is great for networking. If you don't want to pursue anything that they're specifically talking about, you're going to meet wonderful people regardless if you hang around the assembly chambers and go to these meetings. And it's like they are there, they do want to talk, and they will listen.
So yeah, definitely get in on some of this. There's another little community event here that I wanted to touch base on too as well. Let me pull this down here.
The fashion show.
Not the fashion show. We'll come into the fashion show in just a second here. I do that. I do
Really
have that
excited
on
about the
deck.
fashion.
Yeah, the fashion show. But no, I wanted to let everybody know about the Spring Baby plant plug sale going on, where you could register online, PetersonHillFarm.com. $10 for a registration and $2 per plant plug, and a 10x20 tray with dirt provided, so you could take home your baby little plants.
We're putting babies in the dirt, planting babies.
It's just plants. It's baby plants.
The Peterson farm is
do
like
not do not plant your baby. No, this is not something you want to do.
Man, wayside.
The Peterson farm is like really cool. They did a wonderful job up
Baby
there,
plants.
and it's always bustling over there. You know, worth
Right.
going to check out. Very cool new facility for Juneau.
Right on.
Okay, and I did have an article here that I wanted to touch base on since we were on the topic tonight about school funding.
Oh yeah.
This gentleman here seems to be in favor of that school funding, and I didn't have the proper thing up here, so let me just go past this guy. Go past this guy. There we go. All right. Never mind.
This.
Let's move on from that. Because I didn't have the proper stuff up.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the Spur Oil platform.
Right.
That stopped pumping crude from the ocean back in 1992.
30 years ago.
The platform was built in Cook Inlet during Alaska's first oil boom back in the 60s and was losing money. Officials from owner Marathon Oil wrote in a letter to the state oil production was expected to decline, and a review of the seismic data showed that no further economic development potential exists. So now, Alaska's top Alaska oil and gas official, Ken Boyd, has agreed that he informed Marathon that in less than 2 years, the company would need to start the process of demolishing and hauling away this structure as required under its lease with the state.
Right.
So when the oil companies built the platforms and other infrastructure...
You're not showing it.
I'm not showing it. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Just start.
Let me go.
Two dumb faces staring off into the
Yeah.
abyss.
There you go. That's the oil platform out there. Let me bring this up. So when the oil companies build offshore platforms and other infrastructure, they also have to agree to restore the public property to the state's satisfaction once they've finished extracting the oil and gas. But for more than 30 years now, the platform just sits there. It has not produced a drop of oil since George H.W. Bush was the prez, and it's set to remain in the inlet for years to come.
Well, and it's, you know, I don't know if it's the case or not, but I'm pretty sure that all waterways of America are under the jurisdiction of the federal government, and the federal government subsidizes the oil industry. So the state could want whatever it desires and be like, hey, we had this lease agreement, but I think it might be the Fed's ultimate say, and that's why nothing's getting done.
This is a perfect example of corporations running the governments.
Right.
Yep.
And it needs to stop. There needs to be laws and provisions in place that basically force these companies to clean up after themselves and stop putting it on the states or the feds to clean up after them.
Tear it down already.
Cook Inlet Oil and Gas Companies have been feeding off state regulators' repeated attempts, or have been fending off state regulators' repeated attempts to advance the process of dismantling their unused platforms, beating back those efforts and minimizing their obligations. Today, the multi-level structure, complete with a helicopter landing pad and crane, sits unused, rusting away, as a state inspector wrote in a 2021 report. Signs warn of an asbestos hazard, and most rooms are in advanced state of disrepair, with paint peeling off the walls, standing water on the floor, and severely corroded piping and machinery.
Is this where they filmed the prison scene in Face Off?
It kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
It's a good
Doesn't
movie.
it? We could turn it into a prison out there.
There you go.
I do want to take a pause in the middle of that real quick to just do a disclaimer, because something that we see a lot with, especially within the CBJ, and they talk about a lot on the state side, is asbestos. It has asbestos. Asbestos is preventing us from doing asbestos. It's stopping everything. I'm going to give a breakdown of exactly why asbestos is so dangerous, and it has nothing to do with the chemical makeup or compound. It's not toxic. It's not poisonous. What it is the shape of a fine particulate. The fine particulate that comes from asbestos is in the shape of a hook. When you get that hook in your lungs, it's very hard to get it out. You will be coughing, whatever. Eventually, a cyst will form over it, and that cyst can turn into cancer and mesothelioma. That particulate can take up to 15 years to get out of your lungs. Fiberglass insulation, which has a straight fine particulate, takes 11 years to get out of your lungs. So they are virtually the same thing, but they just want to bring up asbestos every time there's asbestos in it. It's like, there's fiberglass insulation in it too, but no one ever talks about that, and they're both equally as damaging. You know, so when someone says asbestos, don't think that it's like some radioactive toxic thing that's going to poison the earth. It's a natural element that's found in rocks, and it just has
with protective equipment and fucking get rid.
Well, if it's wet,
yeah, exactly.
yeah. But it's just a hook compared to a straight line.
Right.
That's all asbestos is.
Yeah. Just go in there and take it down already.
Yeah, get it all soaking wet, take it down. That's all you need to do.
So of the 17 platforms we have here in the state, 15 are now owned by Hilcorp, a company that specializes in managing mature oil fields. 6 no longer produce oil and gas, and 4 have been offline for a decade or more. Wow. None have been removed.
Wow.
So there's a reason why someone might want to keep a giant structure and not do absolutely anything with it. And this is why the housing market in New York is like at 80% capacity, but there's no one living in any of the structures, because if you own a structure and if you're not renting it out or doing anything with it, it's an asset and you can borrow against it to leverage your company's position to do other things. So I would bet a pretty penny that those 6 down oil rigs that don't do anything are leveraged against for credit lines and other business endeavors.
So these are not going to be just a problem in the inlet. They're also going to be a problem on the North Slope because, you know, again, there's a lot of plans in place to expand North Slope production. So there are regulators who will oversee a far more sprawling removal process when the massive Purdue Bay field and other developments eventually reach the ends of their useful lives, because remember, that's coming up here fairly soon.
But somewhere in the article, they're talking about repurposing, and especially those ones in the Arctic region. That's going to be the major shipping port of the world very soon. And everyone in the world is fighting over the rights to who gets to pass through what. And we already have a bunch of oil rigs that could be repurposed for that type of travel.
Exactly.
So we're in a great position with
So
those.
they are giving Hilcorp 5 more years to draft plans to repurpose some of its dormant infrastructure, such as for wind or other renewable power generation options. And the federal regulators have dismissed this as not reasonably foreseeable, but for oil platforms off the coast of California, I don't know, it might be feasible here in the state of Alaska. So it seems like that's kind of the direction they're trying to push them, even though federal regulators are
I really
not on board with it.
I really hate when they're like, it didn't work in California, so you can't do it there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if it didn't work in California. There's
Right.
more
Different
laws
place.
in California that like the bureaucratical process there is 20 times greater than anywhere else. So it's like, of course, half the stuff doesn't work there. It doesn't mean it won't work here.
Yeah, so they want to go simply allow underwater portions to erode away into the ocean, Hillcorp does, or even somehow accelerate that process to force an early structural failure.
Wonder how good their insurance is.
Richard Charter, who is a California-based ocean protection advocate,
Just turn it into
said it's a
into
playbook.
artificial reef, bro.
said it's a playbook for oil companies who have used repeatedly and described as a delay, deny, and diddle around tactic.
How many oil drilling rigs in California has that guy gone against? Why is he talking about stuff in Alaska? I mean, he's got plenty to worry about in his state.
Right.
Yeah, it says the hope that you'll never have to do it. He's lobbied for platform removal off of California and the Gulf of Mexico. The reality is that you can't delay it if you're making money somewhere else. Its financial benefit is longer than it takes longer than we can to defer it. Removing all 17 platforms from the inlet along with associated pipelines could cost an order of around $1 billion, according to industry watchdog group estimates.
That's nothing for an oil company.
Yeah, well, I mean, what is that, like a quarter or a little less than a quarter profit?
Right.
Yeah. Half of a quarter's profit.
Half of a quarter's profit? Yeah. So, they could afford it. Let's see. It says here that another reason the state regulators have been hesitant to press the issue of platform removal is that they would prefer to see the oil and gas industry invest in what they describe as an urgent state priority, drilling for more natural gas in Cook Inlet. So let's not tick off the oil company. Let's not tick off the big companies and their money that they bring to the state and, kind of back off the things that we put in place to safeguard the state.
Hey, if you want to go drill someplace else, by all means, go ahead. I'm sure that somebody else will want to come to Alaska and drill here.
Well, this is another thing too, and I think I talked about it a while back, but if you look at the 20 top highest paid positions in all of Alaska, you get a bunch of commissioners, the governor's pretty low on the list. Highest paid position in all the state of Alaska is the oil advisor guy who makes like $300,000 to $400,000 a year. I don't know if it's this Boyd individual, but so if your highest paid position is making double what the governor makes, and that's the guy who's responsible to tell these oil companies, hey, you got to take that down. You think he's going to really tell them to take it down?
Right.
No, they're giving him a $400,000 salary.
Right.
I find this part of the article interesting. Both state regulators and watchdogs agree that there's not much danger of major structural failure that would threaten the environment. However, some of the pipelines connecting to the platforms to the shore have sprung leaks in the past, including a high-profile incident in 2017 that forced a temporary shutdown of 2 platforms, but no major problems have arisen to the platforms themselves. But if you go back and you read that incident from 2017, Hillcorp has stopped a natural gas leak in the Cook Inlet, released methane for months, and generated concerns about the impacts to wildlife and calls for increased scrutiny to the inlet's dated oil and gas facilities. That was nearly...
You know what's a really unfortunate circumstance of all this too is that, you got these super long pipelines, these trunnions and things like that. The materials that they used when they constructed it are still sometimes a lot better than what is going in today. So what they'll do is that they'll have an old section of pipe that's been holding up for 50 years, springing a leak here and there. They'll put in a whole new section. The new section will get obliterated before anything else happens to the older sections. And we've seen that happen on, even stuff for AELMP for the water guiding from the lake and stuff like that. The 100-year-old metal is holding up better than anything else. So it's just like the quality of manufacturing has gone down so much. And it's just like, yeah, who's to say that if they did replace it all, you would get another 50 years of being sealed completely,
Yeah.
Repurpose it.
State officials have also said that the infrastructure poses little financial risk to taxpayers because oil companies have already signed agreements with the state designed to ensure that they have the money available to remove the platforms when the time comes. But watchdogs, of course, are questioning whether those agreements are sufficient. Hilcorp officials have declined an interview request, and in response to questions, their spokesperson Luke Miller sent a statement saying that the company has shared confidential decommissioning studies with the state regulators and strives to be a best-in-class operator of mature oil and gas assets.
Why would any deconstruction guidelines be classified?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Why?
It seems like there would be something in there that
We
you
need
need
to
remove.
hide how we
Give you a little
take
bit of
this
time.
apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just take it apart.
Because you know that the public would not agree with it. And that's
Right.
usually what it comes down to, is that there's language in there that if any regular Joe or regular Jane were to read it, they would automatically disagree with it and call for it to cease.
Maybe they need to stop using that kind of language in their agreements.
Yeah, well, you
Maybe
know,
they just want to sink some of these to the bottom of the
I
ocean.
mean, you got to protect yourself legally somehow, right? That includes making significant investments to decommission old infrastructure and to seal old wells, which prevent them from leaking into the environment. Existing infrastructure in the Cook Inlet, including platforms, will play a critical role in ensuring Hilcorp can meet the natural gas commitments to urban Alaskan utilities. Very, very, again, corporate language going on here. Also exploring opportunities to repurpose existing infrastructure, such as offshore platforms for renewable energy and carbon sequestration, which, by the way, I just recently came across the article that Iceland opened up their first full-scale facility designed to that whole thing, removing
did they?
carbon from the air.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to have to talk
Yeah,
about
I
it in
saw
the
that.
Saturday show, and I
Saw
think I
that.
sent it to you on that one.
Yeah.
I found that kind of interesting. It says the future of the utility of these platforms is consistently evolving as repurposing opportunities expand alongside technological advancements.
Apparently,
So-
that facility looks like something out of a Christopher Nolan movie, I guess. That's what people are saying.
So there you go. I think in the end with that, no, I really would like to see the state kind of attempt to force the hand of these companies to, begin their plans now.
Right.
And I agree. Like, here's your timeline. You got 5 years. Get it done now. And you have to have your plan in place, and we need to see action by the end of 5 years.
Right.
I think the issue is that the state has zero authority with them, and it's really
Yeah.
going to be something that you'd have to call on the feds to force them to do.
Well, now
These
see,
corporations, man, they got too much power.
I know, that's the thing. The feds are the only ones who have the authority to tell them what to do, but
Right.
that would never happen.
Right.
and I know, but states, again, it's one of those things where, you're on that slippery slope where
They
states' rights
so-
to do what? To kick the oil companies out
well,
when they
thi-
don't remove their platforms.
This is what happened with the cruise line industries, and it's really easy to get things out of the decision of the state by saying it's on a waterway of America. That's federal jurisdiction, so the state's laws are null and void.
Yeah.
And when
Yep.
you have a lot more lawyers than an entire state does, you can make that argument a lot better than what the little state can.
And of course, the ability to print endless money to,
Right.
litigate
Yeah.
the states who
Yeah.
don't have endless streams of money. The money that they get are coming from the feds.
But we do have endless resources, which is a lot like
Fed-
money.
The Fed is only printing $2 million a minute right now. So
So, let me switch back here and let's talk a little bit about this here.
is it the fashion show?
Yes, everyday Indigenous fashion show. GHF is calling for all models to walk the runway at Celebration 2024. Join them for the fun fashion event. Models must be 16 years or older. You can sign up on the My GHF portal. That's June 7th, 2024, coming up here, June 7th. For questions, you want to contact Bobby Ann at what is this? Garnetan at collective49.com. That's GARNETANN at collective49.com, or you could join them on mygoldbeltheritage.org. That sounds like a great time right there, because
Right.
I remember reading the article about some of the fashion events that were coming up at the Gold Belt Heritage Foundation there. So I'm pretty excited to see some of that.
Yeah.
This town is really great for the arts. We have a lot of very talented individuals and a lot of great art expression, and it's one of the reasons I love this community.
I've actually been digging seeing the a lot of the Tlingit artwork, in fashion, blending in.
Oh yeah,
fashion.
no, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, they got a lot of good.
Well, I saw this one too. It's this Canadian artist, and he does like modernism with form line. And he had like this robotic raven's mask head. It was smoke and lights. It was but it was a traditional form line suit, and it was just one of the coolest things I'd ever seen.
That's cool.
And one of the coolest things I've seen is I think it was it last Celebration, or it might have been the previous one before that, but the Star Wars Tlingit design on some of those cosplay outfits were just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And to see him on display and it was like, oh wow, the Stormtrooper outfit, that was just so sweet,
Yeah, that might have been last Celebration.
Yeah, that might have been last Celebration. I know some of it is actually on display. You can see some of the original artwork over there at I think
Sea
that's
Alaska?
at the Sea Alaska. Yeah.
Sea Alaska Heritage or Sea Alaska. Yeah. Yep.
So, all right. I think that's just about what we got for everybody here tonight. A lot of good topics we discussed. I'm glad everybody had a chance to join us here again. If you ever have any questions for us or anything you want to sell, like some tires or, I did want to make mention, got an email here from a listener of the show who has 3 pallets. If anybody wants to come and pick those up, I know some people like to take those pallets and chop them up for firewood. If you want those pallets, they are free if you want to haul them away. 2921 Simpson Avenue on Douglas. And you can also give them a call. They did not leave their number. So 2921 Simpson Avenue if you want to come and pick up those pallets.
Pallet repurposing has been real hot lately. I saw someone make like a little tiki bar and a pool all out of pallets. It looked really well done.
Oh, how about give them a call at area code 907-957-4195 if you want to come and grab those and take those away. So, and that's about all we have for everybody. So, time for us to get on out of here and join us next week. Make sure that you like the stream, share it around, and let everybody know we'll be going live right around 8 o'clock next Wednesday right here on Juneau Community Corner.